Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Max, and in today's video, I wanted to have a little bit of a shorter discussion, mostly because straight up I didn't record until the day that this is coming out, and there was a tornado by me this morning, so I was in the basement for a while. uh, but yeah, it was something that I wanted to talk about, but I felt like it was a shorter conversation point, more of a we can talk about it in the comments and go a little bit more back and forth, and I'd like it. In short, my question was, what do you guys think is the strongest item survivors can bring into a match? Um, I just want to start. I'm not gonna really go over the event items. I think the only unique event item that I can recall, other than like the add-ons for the medkit, are like the firecracker ones, which are kind of similar to flashlights. Uh, in short, I don't really know where I stand on the issue, but I would say medkits or toolboxes are for sure in my opinion, only genuine contenders, and everything else is kind of meh. Um, and I mean, I just, quick summary for why I think that's the case. Flashlights, while they can save a teammate, I think they're just in general a bit risky to bring. Just because once the killer knows that someone's nearby with a flashlight, like when I end up playing against people who have flashlights, I don't go for pickups until I kind of clear out the area of the other survivors, and the efficiency of generators being done at that point is pretty low. Like, you have a lot of people that are taken off of generators in an attempt to get one hook done, which I think admittedly is rather inefficient from survivors, so I don't mind it too much. It can be annoying to deal with for sure. Like, if they're really good and, persistent trying to get a flashlight save, it could be obnoxious, but I don't think it's the most strong thing that a survivor could do. With the rework to hatch, I'm gonna say keys are definitely not amazing either. If you give them the add-ons where you can, like, for a good duration, aura read the killer for, a long period of time with the red key and blood amber, stuff like that, they're useful. They're really, like, don't get me wrong, they're definitely a solid thing, and you can also use the hatch at the end out of an emergency. But I think that ability to extend the chase, while it's pretty good, not a lot of people. If you bring a key, that's basically what you're doing it for. Not a lot of people bring keys, anyways. And the other part too with keys is that if you're trying to go for like a hatch play in the end game, and a killer notices you have a key, it's a big incentive to kind of just tunnel you out of the game. Which it kind of sucks, but I think that's just a genuine truth that has to be acknowledged when you're bringing a key. Like, you're just not going to be allowed to get out towards the end game. I don't think that's very true now, but because I really don't see keys like at all. But I know in the past, at least, if someone had a key, you want to get them out of the game. Maps, I think, are very helpful for some beginner friendly people who need to learn where objectives can spawn, where things go on the map, tracking things. Once that knowledge gap has been kind of minimized slash mitigated, maps just, I think, inherently have less value for the person. You'll usually be able to kind of identify where the last couple generators are, more or less, if you've been keeping track of it. Or based on where the map is, like, you have a rough idea of where a generator should approximately be spawning. Chests, I don't think are... That's a whole other discussion, actually, I could do about, like, why are chests still a thing, or can we make those a bit more relevant for the game. But, like, chests don't matter too much. Totems can help, but once you know the totem spawns, same thing. It's just, like, if you're looking for a hex totem in particular, or you're looking where to set up a boon, it definitely saves you a little bit of time to find where they're at, but I don't think that is the strongest item that you could bring. Which leads me to the core 2 that I think a lot of people would argue are the strongest. I don't know which one is stronger over the other, which is kind of why I'm asking you guys if you have any real thoughts, opinions on med kits versus toolboxes. And it's mostly because the toolboxes can split into one of two categories. You have the Sabo ones and you have the gen repairing ones. The Sabo ones, I think, are a lot less problematic, for sure. I think a lot of people, if you're trying to do a whole breakout Sabo build, that's kind of the same argument as like flashlights, where You're possibly denying a hook stage and pressure at the cost of multiple survivors now being pressured for one hook, which it slows the game down enough where whenever I see people doing breakout builds, unless the other two have been on top of generators, they get done pretty slowly, and I've been able to wrap up those games. But a couple times I can clearly recall, like, gens were getting done while one person was constantly trying to break out, and I could not do good. That was just straight up because I was having a hard time finding hooks with the whole, like, boil over and was it dance with me, all that stuff. The gen repair speed ones, however, I don't think they're a problem. I guess maybe, you know, the simple arguments like brand new part really is like the one that can really crank out a lot of gen progress super quickly. And just in general, like, the ability to bring in an item and save a few seconds of, you know, gen progress, like, for your core objective is pretty important. But the same argument can really be made for a map. Like, if I'm looking to set up a boon and I go on, like, a map or something, like, it saves me the few seconds of trying to hunt around where a totem might be because I have my map. I can just look at it and see, I know where I need to go to set up my totem. For medkits, which I'm going to say take the cake for the stronger item. And I know Scott was talking about his prevalence of seeing a lot of medkits, but the truth is I don't think it was I see more medkits as much as it's just like I think medkits still are pretty strong. And it's the whole like time efficiency thing that he was talking about, which I'm not gonna use the term too much, admittedly, because I don't understand a whole lot. But it makes a little bit of sense to me that, like, the fact that rather than just getting a couple extra seconds knocked out on a generator, normally healing requires 2 people and X amount of time. Depending on medkits, you now completely remove one of the people from the equation to self-heal out of it. Which, I mean, on its own isn't anything too special. Self-care does that too. But the timing for it is actually pretty good. Like, there's a lot more time spent trying to heal yourself through self-care than there is time spent trying to heal with even just like a brown medkit. I'm not even talking about green medkit, extra dressing, and like super speed, because like that green medkit's terrifying. And the point is, it's just having a medkit is tough because it kind of forces you to go into a really quick. I just remember this was like cool thing from my game. My friend decided to power struggle the killer, and I was able to actually get 1 flashlight save. But you could just, over the course of this game, I wanted to pick it. 1, because I got the flashlight save. 2, I thought it was pretty important to acknowledge the fact that, like, I was not doing a whole lot trying to do something meaningful with the flashlight I found. And I mean, sure, I'm not good with a flashlight, but I think that kind of solidifies my point of, like, people going for flashlight plays are generally not being efficient survivors. I digress. Medkits, I think, because you're unlocking the ability to heal yourself at a reasonable / very good speed with the stronger medkits, that it makes it difficult for you to, like, abandon chases ever. I think, and maybe this is just my interpretation of it, which is why I wanted to make a video, because clearly I could be wrong about it. I feel like medkits kind of incentivize me to tunnel the person with a medkit because I don't want to give them value in the ability to heal themselves. And mostly that's, I think, just because if usually I play Huntress, right? I hit a good hatchet on somebody. If they have a medkit on them and they're far enough away, that chase is going to take a long time. They probably can pretty reasonably reset in that duration. And I don't have anything really to go off of that. Like, they can probably heal by the time I get there. The hatchet that I hit on them meant nothing, and we move on. Now, if I'm chasing someone and I'm pretty close to them and I hit them with a hatchet and they're already injured, sure, you're already going to commit to the chase, but the medkit's not going to have any value in that chase right away. They might be able to reset once that person gets unhooked a few seconds faster. I usually try not to proxy your camp unless I'm losing the game early, in which case, even if that happens, like, I'm not giving value to the medkit. I don't want to give them time to reset. But it's kind of one of those, like, in my opinion, it feels like the gameplay decision changing because of a perk that you bring. You know, for example, like if I bring Unbreakable, even if I don't have Unbreakable, people don't like to slug you for that long. The existence of Dead Hard makes people hesitate to M1 a lot of the time. And I feel like medkits kind of do the same thing, where it's like if someone brought in a medkit, I don't want to let them run around. I don't want to let them continue to play the game that much. And I think it's because the potential of them is crazy. If someone has a medkit, they are usually the target of making sure you don't give them too much value with it. But that just might be my take on it. I'd really like to know what you guys think. I'd be shocked if one of you guys genuinely thinks that medkits and toolboxes aren't the best items in the game. And if so, like, let me know, because maybe I'm undervaluing some components of the other items. But that's pretty much it for this video. I'm not saying that medkits need a nerf. I will say they probably are the strongest in the game. Arguably do need a nerf, but that's not the conclusion of this video. More so, this is just kind of to ask you guys, are medkits strong, toolboxes strong? Which one do you think is worse? I didn't really go into, you know, with or without add-ons, because I think without add-ons, medkits are better. With add-ons, like brand new part versus a good medkit, I think it's a lot closer. But, you know, I also could probably say that more than not, I would genuinely think medkits still probably are a little bit better. But that's really about it for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all the support. Leave a like, subscribe if you enjoy these videos. Coming Wednesday, because it's going to be March 1st, I'm probably going to do another monthly recap thing for February. So if you don't care too much for the future/progression of the channel, because that's mostly what I talk about, feel free to catch me on Friday. I'll have a discussion video ready for then. But otherwise, if you guys want to give some video ideas or just anything that you could think of that would be interesting to talk about, leave a comment here. Leave a comment on Wednesday's video if you want to come back. I'd greatly appreciate it, and it kind of just lets me know what I could talk about. Thanks, and yeah, I'm just going to wrap it up from here. Take it easy, everybody. See ya. Peace.